Hello, hello, and welcome. It's episode 17 of Rich and Ben, the Sober Men, the podcast. I'm Ben, and the next person you're going to hear is Rich. How are you, mate?
Mate, I'm really good. I am really getting into my boiled eggs at the moment. I love a boiled egg. I really am. You know, when you're like, you know that old phrase, oh, we couldn't boil an egg?
Yeah.
It is difficult to get that perfect boiled egg because I've been trying to get, because this is the summer and we wear less clothing in the summer, don't we? And I kind of thought, right, I want to kind of get on a bit of a health kick, and really sort of limit what I'm eating, sort of terrible stuff. And I thought, right, you know, eggs, good protein, whatever. But I was doing omelets a lot, and then I got a bit bored of omelets. And I decided, all right, let's have some boiled eggs. So I've really got into my boiled eggs, and like that honestly, 10 seconds can make the difference either way, from like that perfect dippy egg to that hard boiled, you know. So I'm really getting into that. So that's kind of been
and the perfect dippy egg. Am I thinking like, is it when you lift it out of the water, the water has to evaporate off the shell over like a certain, was that just like a Birmingham thing in the late 70s? I'm not sure.
No, it is that. You lift it out with the spatula with the holes in it, and then you literally let it burn off, and then you pop it into the little egg cup, and then you cut the egg, because it's that moment, isn't it, where you're like, right, I think it's going to be okay, and you don't know until you just start tapping it off, and you open it, and you're like, oh, look at that. It's perfect. But I have a question in relation to boiled eggs.
About my dippy eggs?
About dippy eggs. Do you go for toast soldiers or regular, just buttered bread sliced? Yeah.
No. Toast all the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I've never had, I think it must be like a Harlow family thing. Like my grandpa. No, never any like bread soldiers. They were always like hardcore toast soldiers dripping in butter. And on a good day, maybe a little bit of Michael Marmite.
Oh, Michael Marmite. Yeah, no, I literally just bread and butter.
So you go bread?
Yeah, I do go bread.
Rich.
Yeah, like soft white bread, butter. But actually, it's interesting that you said about toast, because I'm contemplating getting a transparent toaster. Have you seen them? Because my toaster, it's fine, but when you put it down and then it pops up and you're like, it's not done. And then you put it down and then you put it down again and you're like, I've got to keep an eye on that now, because that's going to burn it. And then you forget it's in there and it gets burned. The transparent toasters where you can see how toasted it is, and you're like, that's perfect.
You know what? So it's a bit like the I think, is it a Man City, the tunnel? It's like it's transparent, isn't it? And like the VIPs having their pre-match meals, they can watch the players through the tunnel.
That's right.
So you can just watch your toast.
Yeah, you can get it, and you can. It's like so I'm all about the perfect toasted toast and the perfect dippy egg, but never together. I'm just going for the bread and butter. But that's been my week, mate.
I am impressed. The transparent toaster, that is impressive.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah,
I tell you what, I want a picture of that, Rich. When you get it, I want a picture of that for sure.
Oh, well, you know. How are you doing? Are you good?
I'm really good, yeah. Talking of mentioned Man City there, World Cup, of course. And I'm trying to fax or page the producers of BBC's Who Do You Think You Are? Because I'm trying to find if I've got like a distant relative or a weird uncle in Cape Verde. Because I watched them play Spain last night. Oh my God. I used to be a goalkeeper back in the mid-80s, mate. Back in Birmingham at school. The keeper was like 40, so I was like, kudos to the older players in the World Cup.
Yeah.
But it was so magical. And I think with a lot of the lesser nations, just the colour, the joy in the stands of the supporters, the joy they're bringing to the tournament. You got the Scots off to watch the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park, I think it was, taking over Boston. And it's just been great. And I probably found it like a bit emotional last night. I think Lee Dixon, who's on co-coms, was the same, because it was such an achievement and just a wonderful sporting occasion. And I'm just like, I bloody love sport. To see these guys fight for the draw, but moreover, to see the joy in the faces of the fans, I was like, I must know somebody in Cape Verde. How can I claim that, so I'm loving the World Cup. England, by the time this drops, of course, would have played their first group game. So we'll see how Harry Kane and the boys do. But yeah, I'm really good, Rich. It's been a good week. Had my birthday, so I enjoyed my birthday. Do you remember I said I was off for my birthday? Could I?
Oh, yes, mate. Congratulations.
Rich, thank you. It was a chilled day. I worked in the morning, but rebooted. Then we went out for a curry in the evening. Absolutely beautiful. Booked it for 7 because I had to be in bed early for work the next day. But for starters, I had this it was like sort of grilled cauliflower, and it's like this sticky curried jam. Rich. It was like, oh God. I mean, I love my food, but I was like, whoa, 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 this is one tasty dish. And then I had like a chicken, like a creamy, not like butter chicken. It was like a chicken, what, not madras. What do we usually have? Rogan Josh, so quite tomatoey to kick off with. But my word, the next morning, I haven't had a curry for ages. I was like popping the mince. But you know what? I'd rather pop the mince for excess night before garlic than excess night before Foster's, that's for sure. But I was like, oh yeah, I've had a bit of garlic. So yeah, it was a lovely birthday and really quiet. And Rita was like, have you had a good day? And I was like, darling, I've had such a lovely day. Just being literally in the moment, enjoying opening cards, just chilled curry. And you know what? We booked the table for 7. We were home literally, Rich, by about 7:30.
Perfect.
Like no messing, perfect, in bed. And yeah, it was just great. Not a whiff of, worrying about, am I going to be drinking too much and am I going to be rough at work the next day? It was just a lovely birthday for me, who's now 51. I was like, yeah, I love that. So got to work the next day, Rich, stinking of garlic, but hey, who cares? Better than Foster's. Yeah. And so I was up in near Blackpool. And I was like, listening to a bit of music. Then I was like, what's that road sign? It was like elderly people. You know, the one with the 2 old people crossing the road. I was like,
yep, I know it.
Right. Okay. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm 51 now. It's my birthday yesterday. Okay. Then look to the right. There was another fucking elderly person sign. So I was like, who's trying to tell me that I'm too old? The road gods, come on, man, give me a break. But I just thought, how ironic that I'm feeling a little bit on the old side. And yeah, sure enough, there. And I hadn't seen one for ages. I was like 2 elderly people signs in the space of literally 2 minutes. So yeah, it did make me chuckle, Rich. But a great birthday and feeling good. But weirdly, I've been feeling great. We say how some days you can just feel a little bit skewiff for no reason. This morning, Rich, I don't know if I'm getting a little bug. I'm not sure, but like Alan anxiety popped back, which I haven't had for ages.
Really?
I was like, why am I feeling fucking anxious? Like, you do a little mental check, like, no, that's okay. We'll say, good. Life's good. Life's okay. And I've just had to remember, like, it's going to go. And sure enough, after chatting to a few customers and, had a banana and some water, gave me a bit of an energy boost, it slowly dissipated. And I just thought, how strange that however much you think your day or your week is sorted, or even indeed your life, like it can just sometimes pop back to pierce that little kind of comfort bubble. But what was great is I knew it would pass, and it did. But I was just like, oh, how interesting. But yeah, just, a nice few hellos, bit of interaction, cheeky banana and some water. And yeah, I'm back on good form. But it did surprise me. I was like, I don't like this. But again, like with the ode to garlic, it wasn't, anxiety induced by alcohol. So I think that's why I knew it was going to pass. And yeah, sure enough, it did. And here we are, episode 17. Can you believe it? We're rocketing to 20, aren't we, mate?
I know, episode 17. I can hardly believe it. It's we're growing nicely, and our community is building, and it's we're really happy with the progress and the responses that we get about the podcast are amazing. And yeah, it's interesting hearing you talk about Alan anxiety, the anxiety, feel anxious occasionally, it pops up, and it just is another highlight that obviously in sobriety and being sober and living an alcohol-free and a drug-free existence, you don't get a free pass. Things will still happen. Those kind of moments will happen. But as you said, it's good because you recognize it. You're not masking it or numbing it with alcohol, and you're able to move past it. And sure enough, it dissipates, being outside in the fresh air. And also going back to what you're saying about your birthday and the World Cup, isn't it lovely to be able to enjoy those events without a beer? Isn't it? Like you're sitting on the sofa watching. I watched the Cape Verde Spain game as well. And again, I agree with you. It was so nice. That goalkeeper crying at the end. I'm like, do you know what? That's those moments of the World Cup that are amazing, aren't they? And back in the day, I'd have been 4 or 5 pints deep by
Yeah.
the end of the game, maybe
Oh,
more. Yeah, and
easily.
the same, a birthday curry. You bang on it straight away.
Yeah,
Like, in it first time minute you arrive, right? Have a beer, then and then it's like, oh, let's get the shots out, let's get the limoncello out, let's get before you know it, and you've come away from both those events enjoying the moment, enjoying your birthday, enjoying the football match, and then being able to recognize, oh, I'm feeling a little anxious, but I know it's going to pass. And you've not been clouded by alcohol or numbed anything with anything that is going to contribute to you feeling even worse. So make kudos to you. And of course,
cheers,
many
Rich.
happy returns. And I'm glad
Thank
you had a
you.
successful and a wonderful day with your beautiful wife, Rita.
Oh, I'm a lucky sausage.
Yeah,
it was a
you
good
are.
day. But yeah, just to enjoy a footy game sober, like you say, mate. Just, it's lovely. You can really appreciate the game, what it means to the fans. And yes, and there's I'm not sure Rita's too happy, but I think we got about another, is it 5 weeks of it as well?
Yeah,
So
it is
bring
another
it on.
5 weeks, yeah.
But Rich, you mentioned our, we're so pleased with how the pod is growing, and we do it to help others. We do it to help ourselves as well. Like this morning when I was feeling a little bit anxious, I was like, oh, I'm going to be chatting to Rich, going to be chatting to a mate later today. That's going to help me, and it will do. And I really look forward to it. But there's one email that I want to read out this week, Rich, from a listener, and I have shared it with you, so you have heard this, but
I have.
It's so lovely that we both wanted to share it with our listeners, with our viewers. It's just so touching, and my goodness, when we started the pod, we knew that we had things to impart, things that possibly could help people, but this email just kind of blew our mind, didn't it, mate? So I'm going to read it, and then we'll have a little chit chatty about it as well, Rich. Okay, so here we go. Dear Rich and Ben, I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for starting the podcast. I've been sober now for 15 months, but it's only in the last 2 to 3 months, coinciding with getting into the shape I always knew I could, and starting to listen to you guys, that I finally feel like I am reborn. I'd never heard or read anyone articulate the feelings I have had about my past dependency on alcohol, or the journey I've been on over the last year and a half, until I discovered the pod. I can honestly say it's been life-changing. Nearly 5 years ago, I had a severe stress-induced panic attack, which led to months off work and a lot of soul-searching. I always knew I had an issue with alcohol, but it was also the only thing I had to relax, and for a long time I never properly dealt with the problem. Eventually I reached such a low point and such a state of self-loathing that I knew something had to change. Your podcast arrived at exactly the right point in my journey and helped me make sense of feelings I'd never been able to articulate myself. Hearing you talk so honestly about the pain, depression, self-loathing, anxiety, lack of purpose and happiness, and how that had been transformed through your own experiences, triggered something quite remarkable in me. I had what I can only describe as a reverse panic attack, a 15-minute episode of tears, laughter, euphoria, uncontrollable joy and release, as if all the negative emotion and energy that had built up over the decades was literally being cast out of my body. I feel transformed. I am finally content, and I now approach life with the clarity and purpose that I've been dreaming of for more than 20 years. Once again, I want to thank you so much for helping me become the person I always believed I could be. You've helped me change my life, and I will forever be grateful to both of you. All the very best wishes, Sam. Oh, God. I mean, we got a bit emotional when we shared this at the back end of last week, didn't we, Rich? But again, it's so touching. So many of the traits in his alcohol dependency I recognise, and I can almost feel that fear again, feel that hopelessness of how can I get through this? How can I get better? How can I find happiness again? And what a beautiful email, Rich.
It's when you shared that to me and I read it, when I voice noted you back, I was struggling to hold back the tears. I was very, very emotional, and because the words are so. I mean, he said that we articulate how we felt and the journey we've been on really well, but he's articulated perfectly. That really resonated. Yeah, it's beautifully written, and it made me. It took me back. It really took me back to how I felt all those years ago before I got sober. Exactly as you've just said there. I struggled with everything that he's written there, and I just didn't know what to do to get better. And to know that us sharing our stories and the journey we've been on, and that we continue to be on, has resonated with someone that we can relate to as well, is just absolutely phenomenal. And it goes without saying, everyone that's ever written into the podcast, I'm like, it fills me with pride and emotion and happiness that we're able to help some people on their journey. And in particular, Sam here, he's written it in such a way that made me, I just sat and I read it 2 or 3 times, back and back again. And I'm like, it really struck a chord with someone that has gone through something that is traumatic, that is tragic, that is debilitating, that is mentally draining.
Oh, it's so draining, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so fucking draining.
It really is. And it reminds us that we have a laugh on the podcast. Of course we have a laugh on the podcast, and we talk about funny things that have happened to us, things that have stressed us out. And that's important in life, because if we don't have laughter, what have we got? But it's also a real nod to the memory of what that life was, and the fact that we wouldn't be able to sit here and have that fun and have that laughter and have, nostalgic chats and kind of go, God, isn't it great that we don't feel like that anymore? And that email in particular from Sam took me back to all those feelings in a positive way, not in a negative way. It didn't send me back going, oh my God, it was awful. And it just reminded me of where I was, and the fact that we've been able to, through sharing our stories, help someone else, help all our listeners that do listen and listen to us on a regular basis, and also new listeners as well that find us. We say it a lot. We haven't got it all worked out. We're still finding our way through, but we're trying to find that human angle of relating how we felt, to show that no one is alone in this journey, and there is a community, and we're proud to be part of that. And we want to really continue to share the message, to show that you can get better, you can feel better. And Sam in that email is testament to that, isn't he, Ben?
Yeah, it's just such a great email. Sam, honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, and well done, and good luck, and keep going. And Rich, I always tell you, like, you've helped me so much, and you're so great at just being so open and honest. And when we get together and chat, we are literally just being ourselves. Like, what you hear is that's us. We love a good time, but also we're so wary that, we've been through so much heartache that kind of fuels our new happiness, doesn't it? And our eagerness to share through the pod. So Sam, thank you. And it is super touching, my goodness, because we get together each week, and sometimes we, like you say, I'm talking about my dodgy knees, about my biscuit intake, about my love of bourbons, but there's kind of a serious message there that a few years ago, like, the only thing that excited me was my next pint. I never thought I could enthuse about the day-to-day, but we can, and it's lovely, that you're all hopping on board, joining the Sober Buzz, and having fun with us. It's so grateful, and and Sam, you super inspiring, so keep going. And each week as well, we have our In the Frame section, don't we, Rich, where we've been choosing people in the public eye, or just people we know who's inspired us. Let's go. Who's in the frame this week?
So, in the frame this week, Ben, we've got Irish actor Colin Farrell. I'm sure most people are familiar.
He's good.
Yeah, with Colin Farrell. I remember Colin Farrell when he first exploded, and he was in movies with Tom Cruise, Minority Report. He did a movie called Phone Booth, which is pretty much just him in a phone booth.
Yeah,
what a movie. Yeah, and he really exploded onto the scene in a big way, sort of back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But Colin has been sober since checking into a treatment facility in 2005. That's how long he's been sober. He gave
over 20 years.
Yeah, he gave up at that point. He was heavily into drug taking, alcohol consumption, and he could not regulate. And I guess he was kind of known at the time. It was kind of part of his image, I guess, a kind
The
of like
bad
the
boy,
Hollywood,
Irish,
the bad
like the
boy.
modern day, like Richard Harris, I guess. That kind
Yeah,
of vibe.
exactly. And it was, it was kind of, he was always out being photographed at events and parties. But yeah, he really struggled with addiction and had done for many, many years. And the turning point, he said he struggled with addiction since his early teens. I mean, that's very, very young, isn't it?
God.
And when he checked into his rehab facility, it was because he wanted to be present for his family and specifically his son James, because his son James was diagnosed with a rare syndrome called Angelman syndrome. And Colin said, he admitted he was in no condition to be a friend, let alone a father. And he just knew that he had to get clean because he wanted to be a present father, because his son sadly was diagnosed with this syndrome. And he says that some movies that he's made, he can't even remember making the movies. He was that out of it. And I mean, mate, we've gone into work with hangovers and stuff.
Yeah.
We know how hard that is, but I can't imagine, especially in sort of the world of Hollywood and being, he was an A-lister. He still is an A-lister.
Yeah.
Being able to go in on a film set, knowing that time and money is precious, and feeling that way, and dare I say it, still actually being able to deliver,
completely nailing it, wasn't it?
Yeah, nailing it. So I don't know how he did that, but I guess I think we've discussed it before. You find a way just to get through, and if that's your kind of normality at the time, you're like, right, okay, I've just got to do this scene, then I get back to my trailer, I can recover, I can do what I need to do. But he said that he didn't remember making a lot of the movies, and he knew that his sort of hell-raising lifestyle had to change. And and he's been sober ever since. And he actually, down to due to his son being poorly, he also launched a foundation called the Colin Farrell Foundation, and that helps and advocates for provides support to families with children with special needs, which probably, dare I say it, if he had still been drinking and hell raising, as he freely admitted, that he probably wouldn't have even opened that foundation as well. So yes, he was hell raising for a long time, many years. He knew he needed to make a change. He checked himself into rehab facility and has been sober ever since. And is obviously now a present father, a present friend, and has a fantastic career, and he's kind of reinvented himself into kind of a leading man character actor as well, and has delivered some fantastic performances. And obviously, you and I being actors, it's someone that we admire and stuff with the career they've had. But probably wouldn't have been the same had he still been drinking and using as he was.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Great choice this week, Rich. And also, I know what it's like to be on stage, get through a show like chronically hungover. There'll be listeners who have got through a day at work in the office, chronically hungover, the family do chronically hungover, but to kind of achieve the success he did while still having a huge addiction, like kudos to him. But as we said, it's kind of like he must have felt so drained, like the mental drain and anguish. So how wonderful that he's turned his life around, set up his foundation as well. I think that's a great choice. And Colin Farrell, massive respect.
Yeah, and I think obviously he's moving in Hollywood circles, and he was then, but it kind of doesn't discriminate whatever walk of life you're in. Do you know what I mean? Whether you're working in the office or whether you're working in a shop, wherever that is, if you're struggling like that, that is going to be very difficult to get through the day. So, yes, well done, Colin Farrell, for getting clean, getting sober, and getting his life back on track, mentally and physically as well. So, Colin Farrell in the frame this week. So, Ben, I want to talk this week. I want to talk about shame. Shame in addiction, shame when you're struggling, shame when you are trying to get sober, shame when you're sober, because we hear it, we speak to, other addicts, alcoholics, people struggling.
Yeah.
And there is always a lot of shame surrounded by someone that's struggling because of decision making, because of behaviors, etc., etc. But before I just ask you your feelings on it, I just want to read you this. So this is the dictionary definition of shame, which I thought was quite interesting.
Okay.
So shame. Shame is a painful, self-conscious emotion driven by a belief that you are fundamentally flawed, unworthy, or have failed to live up to social or personal standards. It often makes people want to hide or withdraw, and it differs from guilt, which focuses on having done a specific bad action rather than being a bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we can relate to, would you say, Ben?
Yeah. I mean, my goodness, when I knew we were going to be chatting about shame on this episode, Rich, I was just like, well, how long's the episode going to be? Like 3 or 4 hours? I could go
A
on
day's
until,
worth.
yeah, definitely until your toast is done in your transparent toaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, my goodness, that's so good that you've given us that quotation, Rich, because it really anchors the discussion. And shame, it's that feeling, isn't it, of just letting yourself down, letting your loved ones down. How could I do that? How could I do that again when I've been telling myself for fucking years, sort your act out?
Yeah.
And it's so tricky, Rich, because it's almost like I knew when I was drinking, I knew when I was out that I was going to feel crap the next day and that shame would be there. My God. The shame of, I think in my friendship group, they behind my back, must have called me king of the pissers. Like, Rich, even into my early 40s, I'm embarrassed to say that the number of times I would go out, we'd be staying at their parents' house sometimes, I would have woken up and I would have pissed myself.
Really?
There was one occasion where I didn't realise. I mean, listen to me. I was going to say we've all pissed in a wardrobe, have we? Of course we fucking haven't. It was only me because I was drinking too much. Rich, I pissed on a mate's stereo.
Really?
I didn't realise at all. So the shame of having to like be at a friend's parents' house for a weekend away, roll up I'd be on a camp bed, roll up the bedspread, just get it in the wash, still pissed, thinking, how can I be early 40s and I've just done this? Because I've got a dependency on alcohol, because I just have drunk too much again. So it's knowing, as I've said in previous episodes, Rich, I knew for years that it was an issue I had to address, my excess alcohol intake. So that's there, that's underlying, that's always in your brain. But then when you're adding on top of that, these further actions as a result of that, like, pissing myself, just waking up so anxious about what I might have said, what I might have done, that everything is just amplified tenfold. So the shame becomes exhausting. It's a reminder morning after morning of like, I've got an issue here that I need to be strong enough to address. And, and also the shame can be draining, because I would keep that shame to myself, Rich.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like anybody else. We've said before, haven't we? If you're hungover, it's like, oh, fuck, I drank too much last night. It's a joke. It's like, you got it out there. You're not ashamed to say. But I was so conscious. I knew. So I wouldn't say. I'd be like, I'd turn up for work the next day and be like, all right, pretend everything was fine. But you've got that awful like stinging energy where your blood's boiling, you just like, you've got that extra energy trying to hide a hangover, hide that you were shit-faced the night before. So I would hold that shame. I'd have that shame within me for 2, 3, maybe 4 days after a big night, Rich, until I got clearance, and I'm such a coward, really. I'd just, drop into conversation even 3 or 4 days later, like, oh, it was a good night, wasn't it? I was all right, wasn't I? Like, what a dick. Just what a stale state of mind to be in, where through drinking too much to have that shame and then not to deal with it instantly, just carry it on. And as I said, it's so exhausting. And also the state of, in front of colleagues and family, looking fine, people think you're functioning fine, but just knowing that within you're so ill, like physically and mentally, you're just rotting away. So shame it's almost like the nail in the coffin of that thought in your head, in my head, that I'd had for years, that I need to end this. I need to find a new way forward. Does that kind of make sense?
It does make sense. Yeah, I can relate to that. And I think it's, if you're guilty about something, if it's something you've said or something you've done or behavior, you can feel guilty about that. But possibly with that, with an apology, with showing remorse, you can perhaps move past that. But the shame element to it is corrosive on the
Oh,
inside, and it just eats you up, because you may be guilty about the things you said and done, but the shame is you're so ashamed about how you're living your life, because you know it's a pattern, even if it could be subconscious at certain times because you're not ready to admit that you've got a problem. But the shame will eat away at you until there's nothing left, and you're embarrassed, and you get to a point where you don't want to see anyone, you don't want to converse with anyone, because you're so ashamed of just essentially how you're living your life, which is not at that point being celebrated by yourself or anyone, And so I think for me it was a difficult thing to admit, because I at that point I was in a place, a headspace, where I couldn't show a weakness, like on the exterior. I didn't want to show that I was weak. I didn't want to show that I was vulnerable. That made me feel too exposed, and so the barriers go up. And I was almost, attack was the best form of defense. So I was not able to admit my problems, but inside I was like falling. I was falling and falling away. I didn't recognize myself. It was awful. And I think that happens when you're dealing with an addiction issue, a drink, whether it's drinking or it's drugs or, gambling, whatever it might be. You can physically feel yourself slipping away from the world, because inside your brain you can't live with who you are. And I think that's destructive, and I think that is very common.
I remember speaking to my mum on the phone after a really heavy weekend, and I remember saying to her, I'm done. I think I need to address this, and it was just that feeling. I knew that I wasn't. I knew that as soon as I got off the phone, I was going to go and find somewhere to have a pint, and it's weird because you're there in the present, aren't you? You're your feet are touching the floor. You think you know what you're about, and you think your friends and family know who you are, but you just know there's this invisible self-destruct button that you're just about to press again. And it's almost like you're present, you're solid, you're there, but any moment soon, it's just going to run away from you again. That cycle's going to happen. You're going to be repeating that cycle. And it's such a weird feeling. It's almost like an out-of-body experience where it's just I know what I've got to do. I know what I'm like. I know the core of my personality, but I can't help. I'm helpless here. I'm going to have another pint.
Yeah, I think that's the key, because being helpless, again, we've said it before, you are helpless. You don't know what to do to get yourself to make yourself feel better, to get better, to change your lifestyle. It's you're at a point where you're a complete loss, and I think that's very common as well. And I think you're two different. You're behaving as two different people, aren't you? Because, and I would say that the guilt can be outward. You can say, "Oh, I said that. I feel guilty about that."
Yeah.
But the shame is a secret that we carry, that internalized secret that we just can't tell anyone, because it makes us feel too vulnerable, and we don't because the minute we admit it, when we're in that addictive headspace, the minute we admit it, we are then we're open to all bets are off, and people can hurt you,
who's talking about you at work? Rich Taylor Woods, Ben Harlow, they've got drinking problems, they've lost it, they've got alcohol dependency, drug dependency, and it's I don't want people talking to me about that. That's shameful, and but I'm telling you that I kind of wish people had come up to me and said, "Have you got?" Nobody did. I don't know if that's because they were afraid to, or I don't know. Like, could people see it? I don't know. And maybe it was just me that knew it. Maybe it was just me that could see that, I had this problem. It's so strange. It's a very lonely place, actually, isn't it?
It really is, because it's because the drinking and the using, that wasn't what was keeping, wasn't the heaviest thing we were carrying, was it? It was the shame of it that was the hardest thing. Like I would probably say, tell me if I'm wrong, if I'd said to you, because I didn't know that you had a problem with it. I thought you were fun time Ben. Oh, Ben, he's got his, from the outside, which if it was, if it was then when we first worked together, if it was a massive problem for you, then you kept that hidden really, really well, which I guess you would probably would admit was a problem in itself.
Yeah, completely.
But
drinking was the easy part, Rich.
Yeah.
That was easy. Getting pissed. That was just, not a problem at all. It was the easy part. It was, it's the next day. That's the draining bit. The shame.
Well, it's true.
The shame.
Well, the shame makes you want to escape, and the escape is drink or drugs, isn't it? Yeah. So that levels you out again, which is such a vicious cycle, and it's so debilitating, and it's like it's an awful place to be. And the things we said, the sort of the time we've lost, the money, damaged relationships, all those opportunities.
Money. When I think the amount I've spent on booze, what good I could have done with that money instead of funding the most of the the bars and pubs around Europe and the UK.
It's
crazy.
True. And it's sitting with that, and I think shame presents itself when you're sitting on your own, doesn't it? That's when for me, that's when it was I was sitting alone, and I was consumed with this kind of embarrassment and shame of how I was living my life and how I couldn't see a way out of it. And I hope that people can maybe resonate with that, because I think we said it in it might have even been episode 1, all the way back in episode 1. It's that we don't want to show a weakness, because once we show a weakness, we have to deal with it. And I think the minute you have to deal with it, if you're not ready to deal with it, you can't move past it, because then you're doing it for someone else. So you have to almost get to that point. As much as I don't want someone to sit in a pit of despair and embarrassment and shame, sometimes to get to that point is a reset, and that's when you can move forward. And I definitely got to that point where I was like, I can't cope with feeling like this anymore. I'm so ashamed of how I'm living my life, but I couldn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
And that
what would you have done, Rich? Like when we first worked together, we're on the ship getting pissed every night in the crew bar, getting pissed, bottle of red, beers, the lot. What would you have said if I'd said to you, "Oh mate, have you got I think you might drink too much. Have you got a bit of an issue here?" Like, how would you have batted that at the time, just out of interest?
If you'd have said that to me, if we were drunk, or if we were sober over
or just within that period of time,
I would have laughed it off. I'd have made some wisecrack or joke. If I was, well, especially if I was drinking red wine, you never knew which way it was going to go. Suddenly you could lose your temper, and it could cause an argument. Because I think probably what I would say, well, you're drinking just the same as me. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to have that altercation or argument, or it's awkward, isn't it?
It's so awkward. And I think if you'd said it to me, I would have. Oh, if I'd hear that bit of a gurgle there, I've just had literally just had my favourite cheese and pickle on granary, toasted, but not in a transparent toaster. I'm so jealous of that. But I would have been so laughed it off, but so interesting. Literally, just thinking about it, Rich, the shame would have pierced me.
Yes,
the shame would have pierced me and stayed with me for fucking days, thinking someone's onto me here. Yeah, somebody can notice. Have
I've been found out. Yeah. No, you're right. I think that would have probably been the same. You go away, and that's when, as I previously said a few minutes ago, that the shame comes when you're sitting alone, when you know that it's. And I said it before. It's corrosive, and it's a horrible feeling, and that I think probably can promote anxiety and sort of issues, sort of mental issues where you can't cope. But if you're dealing with that, it can be damaging, and you can make you feel helpless because what do you do to start making a change? Where do you go? Who do you
Where
speak
do you
to? Who do you
start?
trust? I mean, I
yeah.
guess moving forward, I would say if those feelings are prominent with an individual, trying to come to realize that you're not a bad person. You just may have done some bad things, right? I think there's
Yeah.
a difference there. Good people can make bad decisions, and
Yeah.
in my experience of working with addicts and being on meetings and talking to alcoholics, drug addicts, whatever, when I see the difference between someone coming first in and they're at a loss, they're at their rock bottom, and they feel there's no way out, and then day by day, month by month, sometimes year by year, the change in that person and the kind of the present productive person that they can turn into with knowledge, because that's the key. Like when you've been at that bottom, if you learn through either going through the program or whichever avenue you decide to get sober, you actually learn things without you realizing. And then you can sit and have a conversation with someone about certain situations, even if it's not related to alcohol, excuse me, or drugs. And you can give some good advice. You can give some strong suggestions to help people through a stressful time in their life. And if you can do that and turn what was a negative for you into a positive for someone else, that can help you relinquish and relieve some of that shame that you felt, because you feel like you're almost serving your time of reinventing yourself in a positive way and then helping someone else. I think it's really important to try and carry that message forward to other people, because if you've been there and you've done some things that you're guilty for, that you're ashamed for, that you're embarrassed of, which we all have in our lives, whether you're alcoholic, addict, regular drinker, normal person, never drunk, everyone's done something that they feel guilty about. Everyone's done something they probably feel a little bit embarrassed of. When you're in our situation, probably there may be a few more of those situations, over the years. But consistency of change is what's important, because I think that helps you relieve yourself from that behavior in the first instance, and trying to eradicate those shameful and embarrassing feelings that you sat with. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree completely, Rich. I think the amount of covering up that one has to do as somebody with a alcohol or drug dependency problem is huge. But how great that the fact that we're here telling our story, that our listeners, viewers are the millions around the world who have, are in recovery. That's a bloody strong quality, isn't it, to have? It's not our fault that life imploded on us, that turned us to drink, that turned us to drugs. Things happen that we're not responsible for, that can have a huge effect on us. But how great that somewhere within us, we must have a spark of like a survival spark of like, I'm going to get through this. I'm rock bottom, but the fact that you recognize you might be rock bottom is a start.
Yes.
It can kickstart the rest of your life. And how wonderful that going through all the heartache, unhappiness, those suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, that there must be like a burning spark within us all that keeps us going, that wants us to get better, that deep down in the core of us, we want to get better. So how great then when we do get better, when we do recover, that we've been through all of that, that spark is still there, but it's still glowing brighter than ever to help other people. Like you've just said, Rich, that it's okay. You can get through this. We've got through. There's millions have got through this, and how lovely. Because otherwise, we might have caved into those negative thoughts, I might have gone for that walk and never come back, but there was something within me that wanted to live, something within me that gave me a little fire somewhere of like, I deserve to live. I deserve to be happy. And it's lovely when you are and you become that, because helping people is just, doing that good deed for the day is the most beautiful feeling ever, isn't it? So it's through awful, awful periods. I think we're strong buggers, aren't we? We have a resilience to get better, and then to use that to help people it's a really great quality, I think.
And it's there if you want it. That resilience it sits like for anyone listening. Again, I will just emphasize what I said earlier on. We're still working at it. We're not sitting here with halos going, look at us, look at what we've done. Aren't we perfect? We're not. We still work through stuff, and we still have to kind of analyze things and work out the best way to deal with situations. And it's that resilience that you said, that is within everyone. It is there somewhere. It could just be shrouded in doubt and anxiety and whatever, but you can find it. I've seen it in people that have come in at their very worst and are now excelling at life. And that doesn't mean they're living in mansions and what have you, and driving sports cars. It means
how great is that feeling, Rich, when you see that in your meetings, where you just see the improvement in somebody, maybe not even aesthetically, but just within their soul? It must be joyous to witness.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. It really is. And it's something that I never thought, if you'd have told me sort of 5.5 years ago that I'd celebrate someone's sober or clean time or not drinking or someone winning at life, I'd be like, I wouldn't have given a shit, mate. I was in a place where I didn't care. I was just literally like drinking myself and partying myself into oblivion. I would not have cared. But the satisfaction and the kind of the warmth that I feel from that is it's immeasurable, mate, to be honest. And it's interesting what you said. It might not be, for anyone listening, it might not be your fault that you are like this. It might not be your fault that you're an addict, an alcoholic, have a dependency issue.
We don't start off like that, do we, in life?
Exactly. That
is my point.
Exactly. I completely agree. It's not your fault you're like that, but it is your responsibility to fix it. Do you know what I mean? And so I think that's where the common sense and the endeavor to get yourself better is, because it might not be your fault, but hey, you're here, you're in it. It's your responsibility to get yourself better. And that again brings us back to like self-worth and feeling proud of yourself. And I think the power of changed behavior over perfect words is important as well. You change your behaviors and you're more present and you're available for other people, rather than just go, if you feel a lot of shame and embarrassment about things that you've done, showing through behavior that you're living your life differently now is more, it's well received more so than just saying I'm sorry. And that the best apology is consistency, isn't it?
Massively. The consistency word is huge. It's for you and for loved ones, if they can see that in you, that you're showing up, you're doing what you're saying you're going to do, is huge. It's like a hugely attractive, it's a great quality to have. And if people have lost faith in you, which they could do during addiction, actions, like visible actions, can help repair that damage, can't it? And it's a visible and like tangible proof that you're learning your lessons.
Yes.
And from that, like, it's such an admirable quality when you see people trying to change, because I know how hard it is. I know how hard I've had to work to, for my sobriety, that it's when you see when I see how well you do, and, our listeners and viewers do it, and, a couple of friends who've just started to dip their toe into the sober world as well. I'm so proud of them, because I know it's not easy, and it's a really admirable quality, just that consistency. And it's proof that, they're giving it a go, and that's wonderful.
It is true. And had those people got themselves sober, or as you said, dipping their toes into like a sobriety world, and had you not been sober, Would you still be proud of them, or would you? Because I know I'd be a little resentful because I'd know
I'd
I
be
needed to make.
resentful.
Yeah,
I would be like the guy who comments on our Tickus Toccus, who I know that I probably scratched an itch. Likewise, Rich, like one of the main catalysts for me getting sober was seeing how well you were doing. Like you've always been a handsome bugger.
Oh, bless you,
But
mate.
honestly, you like when you gave up booze, you went from Tom Selleck to Brad Pitt overnight.
I don't know about that.
But do you know what I mean? It's like you see that, and it's like that should be. I can do that. I can do that. So yeah, completely. When you see that improvement, it can spur you on.
Yeah, I agree, and I guess also I'm saying as well that if you once the shame element of feeling like that starts to dissipate, and obviously as we talked about guilt as well, there are going to be things that people have said and done which are not going to be salvageable. Like you may have said something or behaved in a certain way that certain people will be like, I can't ever forgive the thing you said to me. So I'm not trying to say that we're going to absolve ourselves from that, because there may be things that are just unsalvageable, and that's okay. But I think to live in a more positive way and to show that you're living in a more positive way and you've learned, and trying to show that you've learned from your bad decision making and the way that you lived your life, that may dilute some of the feelings that those people you may have wronged feel about you. Possibly. Again, it might not. But I think that you can be vulnerable. And I think once the shame's diluted, you're able to be vulnerable more openly, would you say?
Yeah, yeah. And also, when I really think about it, as much heartache as my past drinking caused me, and unhappiness and anxiety and depression, it's changed. Going through that has changed my future. It's given me the podcast. It's given me my peace. It's given me my happiness. Going through all of that has completely exposed and rekindled my joy for life. And it's really important, I think, to remind ourselves that the core of us is good. We are born good people, but life events can stick to us and ferment, can't they? Unless we tackle those. And being sober, I'm like neutral. My emotions are kind of in such a good place. I can tackle issues that might have troubled me in the past, and that's a huge help as well.
Yeah.
And again, we talk about our wives and families, don't we, so much, Rich? But yeah, I think one of the overriding messages has to be that consistency, because it gives you consistency of life. It gives you consistency of how you conduct yourself in life as well. But also it's just a lovely reminder that, yeah, I'm in a good place now. The people who I care about and who I love are really proud of me. So I can never change those dreaded morning repeat hangovers looking like, and probably smelling like, Cruft gold certificate rosette dog shit. But that feeling, that awful dreaded feeling, those awful mornings, like they inform my day to day,
And so when would you say that you started to feel less shame? Do you remember a moment when that shame started to dissipate? Or was it just a gradual, and you get to a point, a few months in, a year in, whatever, you're like, I'm not embarrassed anymore. I'm not ashamed of myself. I feel better. I feel better in that arena.
I think mine was gradual, Rich, if I'm being honest. I think it was gradual. That I've always enjoyed expressing myself, but to know that what I've worked through and what I've become is how I was kind of put on this world to try and make people as happy as possible. To be able to do that with no excuse, with just being 100% all cylinders firing, Ben, is the best feeling. And that shame, yeah, it just kind of, it slowly drifted off, and I can tell you, I don't miss that fucker.
Yeah.
I don't miss it one iota, mate. And it's just given me so much. It's freed up so much space. I've only got 6 GCSEs, Christ, but whatever space is there is now free to absorb so much in life and impart so much more goodness as well. That I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm such a dick, but it makes me feel really happy, you know.
And so it should. You mate, we said it before. You're an effervescent character, and you make no apologies for being that person, and you do make a lot of people happy, including me.
As do you, Rich. You, Rich.
Bless you, man. I appreciate that. But it's an interesting conversation, the shame one, and when we actually over the last sort of half hour since we've been talking about it, it has given me a little shudder as well, because it kind of takes you back to those feelings a little bit and going, it's not a nice feeling. It's not a nice emotion. It's not nice when it sits within you, and
it's like an itch, isn't it? It's
yes, it is
a little nasty itch. It's not good.
But also, I think it's also important to highlight it and talk about it, because it's
been
kind
a good chat. For sure.
It reminds us that it doesn't have to be that way. And there is a way out. You can't change what's happened, but you don't have to punish yourself forever, I'd say, is the takeaway to that.
Yeah, love it, Rich.
Lovely.
Another corker. And you know what? I think I might be getting a little bug, because genuinely I feel like I've got a bit of a sore voce. So I'm going to crack on with our end of episode favourite drink of the week.
Wonderful. What we got this week, Ben?
So, Rich, here we go. I'm going to copy you and hold it up to the camera. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that. If you're listening, it is back to M&S. It's cold pressed lion's mane, which of course is good for that, cognitive function within us, helping memory, helping, give us a little bit of daily focus, which is good. And also we've got apple in there, ginger, Gary Ginger's back, Lenny Lime, Malcolm Matcha, and Graham Ginseng is back, and with lion's mane as well. So I'm going to give it a go. It's nice and cold. What I love now, I always remember to put it in the fridge before we record.
Yes, of course. So good.
Here we go. I'm just opening the lid. Do you find, is this like environmental thing that they keep the plastic on? The lids?
Yes, it's so frustrating. So when you open the plastic lid, you can't take the lid off. It's like stuck to the side. It gets all on your cheeks and stuff. Yeah, but
and with with my nose as well, it's like I've got 84 plastic caps up my left nostril.
So it's a cheeky little plastic shot glass, isn't it?
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. So it's yours was blue last week, wasn't it? But this is like actually look at this for branding. It matches your T-shirt, Rich.
Oh, look at that! It looks lovely.
We've got some nice. It's like what green is it? Like we'll call it Robin Hood green. Look at that. Here we go. I'm going to go for it anyway, and hopefully won't bruise my left nostril with the cap.
Go on,
here we go.
Take a drink of that. There we go. He's taking it down. There we go.
Oh. It's good.
Is it good?
It's really good. You get the ginger straight away.
Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely, and lots of lime in there as well. So actually, it tastes, because I know last week you weren't too sure. Yes, full of goodness, but the taste was a bit off, wasn't it? But yeah, the cold press M&S lion's mane. Good.
Nice, tasty.
Really good. Yeah, that's tasty. Good. Nice cold as well. Go definitely cold with it. And good for the old focus. So yeah, I'm going to be on fire this evening. I can't wait. I'm going to be like laser sharp focus, like cooking dinner.
That's nice, because that was because of the cold press range last week. It wasn't that nice, and we did talk about there were other options, and which you found there. So yeah, maybe try out the lion's mane cold pressed range from M&S rather than these. I think it was, I can't remember, sea moss was it last week? Or something? Yeah. That looks good, and I'm enjoying your.
Wasn't he a character in Emmerdale? Sea moss. Sea moss. Oh, it was Amos, wasn't it?
It was, mate. I'm enjoying
cold pressed lion's mane. It was good.
There we go, mate.
Give it a go, guys. Give it a go.
That was this week's drink of the week.
Yeah. Oh, another good one, Rich.
Yeah, it was
really
good, mate.
Whatever I had this morning, that little anxiety hit has well and truly gone now. So thanks again, mate. It's been lovely. And again, Sam, thank you for your message. All of these things kind of just contribute to putting a smile back on my face. So thank you.
That was it was a great chat, and yes, of course, thank you. And you can find us on the Instagramicus at the Sober Men Pod, also the same address for the Tickus Tockus, and on YouTube. Please follow and like and subscribe and all those lovely things that we ask you to do, because that makes our reach bigger, and we can reach more people, and we can all make the community increase as we do each week. So yeah, Ben, great chat, mate. Lovely to see you. Listen, enjoy your evening, get some good sleep.
I will do. And Rich, just a quick one. If I send you a stamped addressed envelope, like Jiffy bag, can you send me 2 boiled eggs, please, for breakfast?
Yeah. They'll be hard boiled because they'll be in the post, so they can't smash. So there you go, mate.
But bread soldiers,
Oh, mate,
I
try
still
it.
can't work that one out, pal.
Try it. Try it. You'll love it. Mate, I'll see you on the next one.
Cheers, Rich.